All right, Needful Things by Stephen King. I've wanted to talk about this one for a long time, and I've only gotten to in snippets here and there. It's in a completely different category than any other book and really any other entertainment for me. It's the first one that ever made me want to read everything ever written to find something else just like it. There were some good books that they made us read in school, like The Jungle, To Kill a Mockingbird, Ramona and Beezus. They were good, but none of them made me want to seek out more like it. So we'll get to more about that in a minute, but it looked really intimidating. I mean, this is a pretty hefty tome here. And I thought I'm never going to get to the end of that. I'll just start off 5 and 10 pages a day, see how it goes. My friend loaned it to me, recommended it. And much like I eased my way into it, Stephen King eases you into this town of Castle Rock. You get to meet the citizens, you get to learn their relationships to each other. You recognize some of them if you're familiar with other Stephen King works, take place in Castle Rock. My favorite was good old Ace Merrill. It's good to see him all grown up now and what's become of him. There's references to Cujo, the Dead Zone, and some others I can't remember right now. So, we're welcomed into Castle Rock by Stephen King. We get to know the atmosphere of the place, the relationships to each other, and how everyone feels when a brand new store is about to open up called Needful Things. And it's quirky but likable proprietor Leland Gaunt. There's something a little off about him. Maybe it's just because he's an outsider, but let's give him a chance. Let's check out his store and see what he has to offer. Well, it's a curio shop that seems to have something for everybody. You know, a memento here. Oh, I haven't seen one of those since I was a kid. I remember that. And they find something they lost. They find something relative to a secret from their past. Some of their secrets are known by others, some are known only by themselves. But Leland Gaunt is willing to sell these items to them for a very low price and perhaps a errand or maybe just a little prank. You know, run this errand for me, pull this little harmless prank for me, and I'll let you have it for 60 cents. That's okay, right? It's all in good fun. And the price is extraordinary, so they're thinking, oh, it's just a little prank and no one's going to get hurt from this. So more and more customers begin paying for their items. And as this starts to happen, you realize the extent of the townsfolk influence on each other as their actions start to have consequences that spread across the town. The town of Castle Rock becomes the town of Needful Things, really. And this is where you really get to see Stephen King's mastery of dark humor. For example, walking through a party in the county jail. The prison band was there, they began to wail. I laugh every time I hear that song or think about it because it reminds me of this good old boy right here. It's okay to laugh at horrible things happening to people when they step outside the spectrum of socially acceptable behavior. Then it's okay to ridicule their failures, their humiliations, and the prices they have to pay, so to speak. When they find themselves committing a crime or a dirty deed, that's when it's okay to laugh at stuff that you wouldn't ordinarily laugh at. And there's a lot of that going on in Needful Things. So, where this book really became special for me, I said I started off 5-10 pages a day, just easing into it, just like the narrative itself eases you into the story. As it begins to accelerate, for the first time ever, I found myself accelerating, reading more and more each day. And then as I got about 150 pages from the end, there was nothing more important in the world to me than finishing this book and see how it all turned out. This was the best entertainment that I've ever experienced. Movies are great, but they exist within a two-dimensional, 2-hour, more or less time frame, and they're basically limited by technology. For example, the movie based on Needful Things, it's a good movie. If you just see that and you want to skip the 750-page book, it's a good movie. However, after reading the book first, it was the most disappointing movie that I had ever seen, because there's no way that you can capture all of this into a 2-hour, two-dimensional presentation. This is entertainment without borders, with no limits except for the walls within your imagination. Roller coasters and amusement park rides are fun, but they're great for a short burst of adrenaline. That's kind of fleeting and has the risk of decapitation or generally death. Songs bring back good memories and they're the soundtrack to your life, but again, they're fleeting. They're contained within a small little box, and compared to the endless ocean within your imagination that gets unlocked by a good book. One through a party in the county jail. That's just a little pocket in the very large outfit of Needful Things. Video games are fun. I like video games. But again, they have the walls of technology limiting them, and there are no walls in your imagination. And a good book will tap into that endlessness. So, by making me want to read everything else ever written just like it, it's in a category by itself. I've come to understand the criticisms that I didn't at the time when I thought it was perfect and the best thing ever. Some of the critics would say predictable, repetitive, too long, and having a few hundred more books under my belt since I first read this, can understand where they're coming from. So if it gets you at the right time, you might have a life-changing experience as well. Or you might just have a good read if you like to read and aren't looking for anything special. Or you might hate it. So, to wrap up, if you want to hear any more book reviews in this unwieldy style, leave the recommendations in the comments. Or if you happen to think I know what I'm talking about and want to see some of my offerings, head on over to the Patreon link in the description, patreon.com/Michael Mastrella. And if this is the only time you ever see me, goodbye forever. And if I'll see you again, see you later.